Alright, welcome back to the backmarker update. Today we're going to be looking at the Atlanta 400 that took place. There were a lot of multi-car spins, but we are going to only be looking at the multi-car wrecks for today. There were 5 multi-car wrecks, one caused a red flag. There was one big one early at the beginning of the race, as we'll look now. Martin Truex Jr. spun in front of the field in turn 1 and took out 20 cars. I mean, he took out literally half the field on lap 7, so NASCAR wanted to turn Atlanta into a super speedway, and that's what they got. It's just unfortunate. The next multi-car wreck happened on the backstretch. Joey Logano comes up on Denny Hamlin and collects another car behind him. Just Joey Logano clearing himself as usual. That's what Logano likes to do. He just likes to clear himself, and he took out 2 other cars, but one of them was Hamlin, so I don't feel that terrible. Because Hamlin getting involved in wrecks and Joey Logano also getting involved in wrecks are like 2 check marks on my list of good things. The next highlight was later on in the race, about lap 220. Brad Keselowski wrecks Kyle Larson and Corey LaJoie after getting loose and putting himself in the wall. Collected both the 5 and 7, which was pretty ironic considering it was 5, 6, 7 that got involved. Numerical order there, but yeah. It was just Brad Keselowski losing talent, and I feel like every single time I talk about Brad Keselowski, I just have to mention, every single time when he went to RFK, he just dropped off massively. He went from getting multiple race wins to barely making the playoffs twice. And he didn't even make the playoffs in 2022. He didn't make any. He didn't make the playoffs. He didn't even make it deep into the playoffs for last year either. So I feel like RFK really screwed him over, but maybe it's just the fact that he's a driver owner now and he's got a lot of stress, but it just feels like he's just fallen off. Anyway, this was the red flag race. Chase Briscoe gets turned by Denny Hamlin into the outside wall, collects a few other cars, including Chase Elliott, which is a positive. Chase Elliott's just never been one of my favorite drivers, and his villain arc last year just turned me off even more, and seeing him get involved in a wreck that turned into a red flag was pretty cool, because that meant he was stuck on the backstretch, wasn't able to pit until after the red flag, so pretty much put him behind the 8 ball, which is always good. But Chase Briscoe ended his night. Stewart-Haas Racing off to a bad start, as usual. We pretty much predicted that this team would be garbage this year, and so far they're kind of proving our point correct. And for the final wreck of the night, it was just a bunch of drivers just having a bunch of mistakes. Just got turned in front of the pack. Literally just collected 2 cars and that was it. Just a random wreck on the backstretch caused a 5-lap shootout that ended up in Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney getting that iconic 3-wide finish that reminded me of the 2006 movie Cars. Incredible finish. Alright, looking at the race review, obviously, winner Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell won Stage 1, Austin Cindric Stage 2. Backmarker finishes, we had a couple good ones, we also had 4 bad ones finished outside the top 30. Cautions, like I said, we had a big one on lap 3. On 26, the 17 of Chris Buescher spun. Lap 54, Denny Hamlin spun. Lap 160, the 11, 17, and 22 got involved in a wreck, and that ended Stage 2. Lap 176, 15 of Kaz Grala spun after getting spun by, I believe, Kyle Busch. Lap 200, the 9 got spun. Lap 220 was the 5, 6, 7 wreck that we talked about. Brad Keselowski getting loose and collecting Kyle Larson and Corey LaJoie. Lap 241, the 14, 9, 11, 21, 51 got involved in a red flag wreck. And then lap 250, just a random wreck between the 2, 4, 9, and 77. For the penalty report, Daniel Hemrick, too many men over the wall. 34 of Michael McDowell outside the box, pitting outside the box. And the 43 of Eric Jones, uncontrolled tire. And then we have 6 cars that got speeding penalties. 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the 8 of Kyle Busch, the 23 of Bubba Wallace, the 4 of Josh Berry, the 1 of Ross Chastain, and the 78 of BJ McLeod. Alright, let's check out the backmarker update. Obviously, we had 4 drivers who finished outside the top 30, and those are our negative place finishes. Noah Gragson, minus 21. Chase Briscoe minus 22, Josh Williams minus 6, and Zane Smith minus 6 as well. Those had terrible nights, but Noah Gragson and Chase Briscoe just SHR, man. They're in a spiral. I honestly think that I'm going to have to add the 4 and 41 to this backmarker update because Daniel Hemrick is surprising me with how good he's running. Kaz Rawl is also running good too, but the Stewart Haas cars, they're just at the bottom of the barrel, which makes sense because the team's kind of in rebuild mode, and right now they're not really rebuilding that good. So looking at all the other finishers, Harrison Burton got almost got a top 10, plus 5. Daniel Hemrick, plus 8. Justin Haley, plus 11. 3 guys that just finished the race out strong. But we look at the cars that had the best nights. B.J. McLeod, the only non-chartered car in the race, got a solid 24th place finish, plus 12. Eric Jones, plus 12. John Nemechek, plus 13. Carson Hocevar, plus 16. And Kaz Grala, the best gain of the night with a plus 19, 33rd to 14th. Top 15 finish after starting in the back 6 positions is amazing. Good job for Kaz Grala. He's definitely proving his talent. And let's look at the point standings. Once again, it's 2 races in, so not that much to look at besides who's leading. Kyle Busch and Byron fighting over the top spot along with Austin Cindric. Not much to say here except it looks like Kyle Busch is cementing his dominance early, even though he's not winning. Hendrick Motorsports has all 4 of their cars in the playoffs. Team Penske has 2 of their cars in the playoffs after Joe Logano's has had 2 DNFs so far. Both Trackhouse cars in. Obviously Daniel Suarez with a win and Ross Chastain right below him in 8th place. Bubba Wallace is in 4th place. Tyler Reddick's a little bit below. He's been caught up in some wrecks. Joe Gibbs Racing has a 19 car, 20 and 54 in the playoffs, but the 11 is Denny Hamlin. You can see at the bottom because he got wrecked out tonight, minus 3, but he's making a comeback. Other notable people in the playoffs right now: Chris Buescher for RFK. Brad Keselowski's had a terrible race, first 2 races. Hopefully he gets better. John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones. John Hunter Nemechek's in the playoffs by plus 6. Eric Jones is the first guy out, but he is right now tied with 16th place Christopher Bell, so he's still hanging in there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for JT Daugherty and Michael McDowell, both trying to get back in the playoffs, trying to back up their fluke wins in 2023. Well, I wouldn't say 34 win was a fluke win because he kind of dominated at the Indy Road Course, but Stenhouse trying to back up his fluke win at Daytona by saying, hey, I can point myself into the playoffs, no problem. But anyway, it's only 2 races in, so the points really don't showcase much besides Kyle Busch establishing an early dominance. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodaloo!